Hello again. Do you like my little Oprah Winfrey interview chair that I've set up? I look a bit more like Graham Norton though, don't I? Anyway, I've got lots to speak about. I'll try not to ramble. Get your cup of tea ready. How's everyone feeling? Despite it being really sunny outside, it's absolutely gorgeous. There's a lot of darkness, there's shadows appearing, and whether you're living with someone and their darkness is projecting on you, or you're having to deal with your stuff with other people, I've been on my own and there's no escape. You can't escape from yourself. So it's been a bit of a strange time. So yesterday started really good. I caught a live mouse. I saved my cats, so I made my own trap, so I was quite chuffed with myself. I did my yoga practice, my meditation. It was really smooth, it felt good. And then I did a family yoga session for Kippy Lodge. And then I took myself for a walk. But there was something niggling, things were, I just wasn't feeling comfortable. I started feeling a little bit irritated with myself. Every time you look in the mirror, oh God, it's you again, I realised that I'm used to the way I feel good is making others feel better. And being on my own, I'm not able to do that. I can try and do that video call, phone. It's just not the same. I work with energy. It could be because of the way I've been brought up that I've picked up on subtle nuances of people's behaviours so that to keep myself safe in case the atmosphere suddenly changed and I wasn't safe. That it's the way I work when I teach. I can pick up on energies and feelings. I can't do it when I'm in the house by myself here, and I've got to pick up my own energies and subtle nuances, and I'm not used to looking after my own self to make myself feel happy, which sounds strange to some people, but some people it might resonate with. So I'm used to doing and not being, so it's been, it's a bit of a strange one. So instead of sitting with this, getting irritated with myself, I don't tend to get annoyed with things or get angry. I could feel there's some sort of subtle rumblings going on, that I decided to be the curious observer, not become that emotion or feeling, and look at it. And I decided I've been studying the moon, I've been studying Vedic astrology. We're deep into the waning moon. We're progressing towards a new moon, which is on the 22nd. And when I'm waning moon, this is a time to let go. It's a time to make decisions. It's a time for no bullshit, to really look at things. Did they work? Have they been working? What do I need to let go of that just isn't right? Your intuition's stronger. You can learn things through your dreams, which my dreams have been outrageous recently, and I won't go into them right just now. So I decided to do a moon practice and dedicate my practice to the goddess Kali. And now Kali's a dark goddess. She's like the scary one. Normally my practices and everything that I try and do, I incorporate love, compassion, healing. I was brought up in quite a dark, scary place, and I don't want that anymore, so I try to transmute it, come into the light. But I think by trying to strive for the light, I've been pushing away the darkness and not realised. I thought I'd embraced my darkness, I accepted stuff, but I need to accept myself too. I need to exercise. I need to let go of my demons. Okay, exorcise. Okay, not exercise, which I've already done my practice in the garden. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. Scared my neighbours, I think. So Kali, the goddess Kali, she's the one that everyone fears. She's the scary looking one. And she appears when a demon needs slain. you know, and she's called upon when there needs to be destruction. And it just doesn't sound nice, does it? But the way things are, so that we can progress forwards into this powerful new moon that's coming, where we can set intentions and have new beginnings, we need to let go of our shit. We need to feng shui our energies, you know, let go of stuff so that new stuff can come through. What we've become used to, or what we've become accustomed to, other people's behaviours, other people's habits, our own stuff, that because it's our norm, we feel comfortable with it. But is it appropriate? Is it useful anymore if we are to grow? This time is a time for growth, and it's sometimes easier to stay in the dark woods than it is to jump off the cliff into the abyss of the unknown. And I've always thought I've been jumping and jumping. I've been jumping in and out of different dark woods, I think. I'm not sure, but Kali is the goddess that I invoked and I've been working with, and it's been really quite transformational, which I wanted to share. I know I'm getting even weirder and deeper because it's all spending far too much time on my own here. So Kala means time. So everything that's subject to change or time, they must go through Kali, because time represents change. You know, the world, Prakriti, things that change, you know. So Kali is an important goddess to invoke if you're going to work with goddesses and deities. If you're not, that's fine. It's quite interesting, some of the stories, if you want to read up on Hindu gods and goddesses. But I'm going to be teaching my students more about this in their as they progress along their trainings. So just now, for all of us, this is a destruction phase. Nothing's ever going to be the same after this pandemic. So Kali is, you know, quite she is quite a goddess to be using right at this moment. It's the germination stage, you know. We need to go into the darkness before we can find the light, you know, if that makes any sense. So Kali is a gateway or a portal. Sorry, I wrote loads of notes last night. I had a little bit of a moment. In fact, I needed to write down stuff so I could share it with you. So Kali is there to help. She's there to let go of what no longer serves you and what holds you back. Okay, she represents death, but in a good way. So we all need to die to be reborn. In a sense, we die over and over again. Parts of us die. We need to shed the layers to really come into who we really, really are. So as I said about this germination stage, one of my tantric teachers were speaking about people who try and rush spirituality and try to rush the process, or go on these 10-day yoga teacher trainings to become a yoga teacher. And you know, by pushing and rushing, you need the lessons, you need the growth, you need the darkness to grow. It's a bit like a seed in the darkness, in the soil. If you gave it all the sunlight that it would ever need in its life, all at that moment, it would burn out and shrivel up and dry up and die. If you gave it all the water that it needed in its life, it would go all soggy and rot and die. We need to progressively add and grow, but we need to be in that dark germination stage before we can come out. So life is in stages and the moon is in stages. So we're at this waning moon process, where the waning moon is about letting go, destroying and letting go of things that are not working, so that the cycle can begin again. So I really feel that this time that we're in just now, the stage of the moon, it's all making sense, you know. So I'm going to speak more about this Kali and the mudra that's involved in that I might even like subject you to a mantra, and if you know me, you know I'm not the greatest of singers. So apologies for embarrassing my children yet again. So after I did my practice yesterday, my second practice, dedicating, it was a moon mandala, which I really enjoyed. I did it again today. It's really settling me. I meditated on Kali. I used the mudra, the steeple mudra, Kali mudra. So using your index fingers, Kali mudra. Okay, and I was transmuting so much stuff until my neighbour had some visitors. I better not speak too loud in case she hears. And it irritated me a little bit, because there was chatting away. It was her family and they're having wine, and I was like, oh, I'm a bit irritated by that. And I realised it wasn't that I was being disturbed, because at the end of the day, you're supposed to practice pratyahara, sense withdrawal. I became the curious observer. I observed my feelings and realised that's my stuff. Whether she's got visitors or not, I would still be in this space meditating. It's up to me to acknowledge my feelings or emotions, and they don't have to be there. And I realised that irritation was, and that's not fair. I want to see my family. That was my ego. So I let that go. I thought I'd step out my own way, got rid of my own bullshit, and came back in, and I meditated even more and really thoroughly enjoyed it. So I decided I'd take myself to try and be a normal human, watch TV, watch a funny movie, have a cup of tea, still getting irritated with myself, I kind of realised, well, I won't realise, but you know how Patanjali or the rishis felt when they'd let go of all the families, the personal belongings, to sit in caves and meditate. Starting to feel a little bit like you've got to go through that crap, and I'm like, I didn't want to try and become an enlightened being in this life. I accept that there's pain in this life. There's going to be suffering if I have attachments. But at this moment, I'm going to have to try and transmute this shit. So I decided, okay, I'm going to take myself to bed, read my book. And I thought, which book? I've got lots of books underneath my bed. I dip in and out. I love to read. I went for one of my go-tos that inspires me a lot. And this was the Women Who Run with the Wolves. If you've read it, if you've not read it, you should read it. And even if you're a man, it'll give you a really strong understanding of women and our natures and human nature. So I opened up, because I've read it before, I thought I'll just open it up. It's got lots of different tales that mean things. So the first one I opened was so relevant that it was almost like synchronicity. So it's a Celtic story, and it's the tale of the 3 gold hairs, and not the animal hairs, the hairs on your head. My greys, I'm trying to hide them just now. And the theme of this is knowing what to do, not if, but when we lose focus. And I really feel I've really lost some focus, and we're kind of like drifting just now, and I think everybody is. So the story goes, there's a very old man in the deep dark forest. He's like walking very slowly. He's got long yellowing hair, long yellowing teeth and nails. His lantern's just about to go out, and he looks to the distance and sees a house that, with the light on, it represents home, safety, a place of rest. He makes his way towards there. Just as he gets to the door, his light in his lantern goes out, he falls into the door, he collapses. And inside this house is an old lady, but she's a strong woman. So she scoops up this frail old man, takes him in her arms into a rocking chair in front of a big, beautiful, roaring fire, and she rocks him, and she she soothes him. So as she does this throughout the night, and as it's almost approaching morning time, he gets younger and younger, and he becomes this beautiful man, blonde hair, and then as it becomes morning, he's grown even younger, and he's become this beautiful child with plaited hair, plaited golden hair. Yeah, so, and it's a little boy with plaited golden hair, and she plucks 3 hairs. That's when I thought, that's not very nice. It's a bit wrong. She plucks these 3 hairs and throws them on the ground, and they make a ting 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 sound, and I really don't know why that was even said in the thing, because it doesn't, you know, somebody can let me know why that was even mentioned, but I thought I'd mention it anyway. And then the child climbed out of the woman's arms, went to the door, turned around and smiled at her, and then he flew up to the sky and became the sun. So that's the story. Sorry, my rustling here, but I took lots of notes. So things are different at night, and we descend into a night consciousness, and that's where I was at last night, you know. Nights when we're closer to ourselves and we're aware of every creak and snap, especially when you're on your own. It's a bit of a fearty. Bedtime isn't one of my favourite times. It's, you know, I didn't have a good childhood where bedtime was quite a scary time for me. So night consciousness really does creep in. And when it's night in fairy tales, it represents unconsciousness, known as the dark night of the soul. So in this tale, night represents a time when our energy, like the old man, gets weaker, and when we're on our last foot in an important way. So to lose focus is to lose energy. And the wrong thing to attempt when we lose our energy is to struggle to get it all together again. So it's a bit like what we've been doing before this pandemic, and what I was doing. I know there's some people that are more tamasic. So I speak to my students about the prakriti, you know, anything that changes the world, our emotions, our feelings, but things are made up of 3 things, the gunas. So tamas, rajas and sattva. We try as yogis to become more sattvic, more pure, but we tend to fluctuate between them all. So rajas is action, where we're striving and driving, we're going and going, and tamas is dark and slow and sludgy, when you want to lie on the sofa and do nothing. I've got a tendency to be very rajastic and move, and if you keep moving, you're going to burn out. And this is part of what this is about. I think some people who've been rajastic, or working a lot, or doing, it's time for us to be. And it's time for us to just let things go. You know, rushing is not the thing to do right now. So as we see in the tale, sitting and rocking is the thing to do. Not like Arthur and EastEnders. And if you're a child of the 80s, you'll know what I mean. You know, so I think we're all in this place just now, and we all should allow ourselves to be rocked and nurtured. We don't need to take action. We need to sit in that place. It's about patience, peace, and rocking new ideas as well. Yeah. So I'm self-employed, and I've got no idea where my life, where my business, where anything is going after this, because life's never going to be the same. So actions can't properly be taken, you know. So, you know, when you apply this to the way wolves are, when an intruder appears, they growl and they bark, but they draw back into the group, and they sit together and they breathe together, they focus, they reground, they center before they decide what to do next. So I think we need to be a bit more wolf-like in our behaviours. So many times when things don't work out, we lose focus. And it's part of a natural cycle. You know, at the moment things aren't working out the way we thought it would for no one. You know, and this is where yoga helps us. Yoga helps us to sit in the eye of the storm. There's definitely a storm here. We need to be able to sit and learn not to react. We need to figure out what our next action is going to be. And by choosing not to act just now, we're acting skillfully, which is according to the Bhagavad Gita. So in fairy tales, when something bad happens, it means that something new has to be tried. A helper, a healer, a magic force needs to be consulted. So this is what I called in Kali yesterday, the goddess of destruction. So like the waning moon, we lose our momentum and our energy and our strength depletes. Okay, so we need to connect to our old wise woman within. This is the old wise woman that was rocking us in this story. So strength is not attributed to the masculine, and this is something that again really gave me this dark soul of the night, this learning yesterday. I've always thought of the feminine as being weak. You know, my mum left us when we were younger, never bothered contacting us, didn't say if we were okay. We didn't hear from her for years. And instead of blaming her or being angry with her, I just thought she was weak. You know, so I've always attributed the feminine to being weak. But I also attributed the masculine as being like dark and dangerous. I was living with my brother and my dad, so my dad was offshore, my brother and all his friends were in the house taking lots of drugs. When my dad was back from offshore, my dad always had his friends around, they're all always very drunk. There was no boundaries, there was no safety for me, there's nowhere for me to go. I'm not saying that I'm pure, I had to embrace some of the darkness to be able to acclimatise, which I probably, if my path was different, I'd probably be a bit of a nerd, but a naughty nerd. But it's my path, it's my lesson, you know. So but I've realised as being a single parent and bringing up two strong women, my daughter's a very strong woman, that I've realised that women are strong, the feminine is strong. But I didn't realise until last night, you know, even though I practice Tantra, and Tantra is about, you know, blending or you're balancing the feminine and the masculine. I mentally knew it, I've read about it. I didn't know it, I didn't sit with it. You know, I've been rejecting these ideas because they're part of my vikalpa, part of my social conditioning, my beliefs that aren't right. And instead, I prefer to work with universal energy, and I always work with prana and, you know, connecting to the universe. But I've rejected that part of myself that's the feminine and the masculine. So by finding and appreciating these energies, I felt like today was the first time really that there was more of a depth and a wholeness to my practice. I realised that the lessons that I needed to learn with, you know, my stitches healing, then getting a headache, and now I've got a middle ear infection and I'm on penicillin, thank goodness. I realised that the lessons of that is I have to really come into my body and realise I have a body. I've been really immersed in my spiritual experiences and spiritual practices, but I've not been grateful or forgiving of my body. I've not forgave my body for what it allowed when I was young, and which is ridiculous. And it's not. I've not been grateful for the body I have. So yeah, a bit deep. Dark soul of the night. There we go. That's what it does for you. So coming back to my story, I don't want to. I realise I'm speaking a lot today. Must be this Oprah Winfrey sofa that I've got here. I'm feeling quite comfortable with you, and I'm really missing humans. So I feel like I'm able to chat by speaking to you guys. So coming back to the story, the hairs, they're symbolic of thought as well. So to throw some away, it made the boy lighter, and he was able to shine brighter and shine and be lighter. And you know, so it's about, you know, the cessation of the fluctuations of mind stuff. So make your mind less busy, to let go of some of these thoughts really allows you to connect to who you are. So I'm going to speak a little bit of Spanish here, and I'm rubbish. Apologies to my Spanish speaking friends. So desprende las palabras. You might not understand because if you're Spanish, because my accent's rubbish, but it means to throw some gold on the floor. So throw away some of the words of the story to make it stronger. You don't need all that. You really need to let stuff go. The sculptor removes the clay, the marble, to really reveal his art. You need to strip some things back to find it. We need to renew our intentions, our ideas, by throwing some of them away. The things that didn't work, relationships, things, ideas, thoughts. Throw that away and then really sit with it and focus. We don't need to take action just now. We're germinating. Yeah? So wolves, when they perceive pleasure, danger, they first become really, really still. They become really focused. So then they can really see or sense what's there. We need to invoke that wolf type thing within us and just sit. So if you've lost focus, sit down, be still, take your idea, rock it to and fro, keep some of it, throw some of it away, and it'll renew itself, and you don't need to do anything else. Okay, call on the goddess Kali and prepare for this new moon on the 22nd. So remember, the mudra is this, and the mantra, I'm not going to go over and over it, I'll just say it a couple of times. It's Om Krim Kalkaye Namaha. Om Krim Kalkaye Namaha. Om Krim Kalkaye Namaha. Okay? Have a lovely day. Bye.